Courtroom 4B had bad acoustics and worse chairs. I'd been in it 3 times by then. I knew where the clock was, which fluorescent panel buzzed, and how long the judge took to read a filing. Details keep you calm. I collect details for a living. My attorney opened his laptop on the table and plugged in the audio cable. He did it slowly. He'd told me the audio was our most fragile exhibit, and he handled it that way. Across the aisle, Chloe sat with the newborn, 6 days old. Soft gray cardigan, no makeup, the exhausted mother look her lawyer had clearly coached. She held the baby at an angle calibrated for the judge's sightline. Even now, staging. 1 row behind her, Patricia, my mother-in-law. Pearls, posture, chin up. The architect. Chloe drew the plans, but Patricia poured the foundation, and I want that on the record, because everyone blames the daughter and lets the mother walk. The judge looked up from the file, took off her glasses, and asked the only question that mattered in that room. Mr. Dalton, before we proceed, is there any dispute about the parentage of this child? I stood. My attorney touched my arm. I answered anyway, because I'd earned the sentence. Your Honor, my wife spent 3 years telling me who she was, so I stopped listening to her and started recording. 15 hours of audio answered that question honestly. She never did. The judge put her glasses back on. My attorney pressed play. 8 months earlier, I still thought I was becoming a father. I'm Mark, 35, structural engineer. I own my firm, built it from a rented desk and a used plotter. No partners, no family money. My father drove a delivery route for 30 years. I got his work ethic and his back problems, nothing else, and that was plenty. Chloe and I had been married 3 years. She was 6 months pregnant. We'd been trying for 2 years. Sit with that, because I did. 2 years of ovulation apps and scheduled intimacy, and Chloe crying in the bathroom on test days while I stood outside the door telling her it would happen. 2 years of Patricia at Sunday dinner saying things like, well, in our family, the women never had trouble. It must be stress or something on his side, smiling at me over the wine glass. Then last winter, it happened. Chloe came out of the bathroom holding the test, crying the other kind of tears. I picked her up off the floor. I called my mother. I sat in my truck in the driveway for 10 minutes because my hands weren't steady enough to drive. I built the nursery myself. Every joint, every shelf. I'm telling you this so you understand what they took. It wasn't money. The money came later. The discovery was an accident. No suspicion, no snooping. On a Tuesday in March, I drove 40 minutes back home mid-morning because I'd left a stamped structural drawing on my desk, a load revision the county needed by noon. I came in through the garage, quiet by habit, boots off at the door because Chloe had rules about the floors. Voices in the kitchen, Chloe and Patricia. I stopped in the hallway with the drawing tube in my hand and stood there for 6 minutes. Patricia first. You're worrying for nothing. Once the baby's here, he's locked in. Men never fight when there's a baby. Courts always side with the mothers. Always. Then you file whenever you're ready and the math does the rest. Chloe, laughing. God, the child support alone. His income? Mom, I ran it on one of those calculator sites. Patricia. Run the alimony too. 3-year marriage is thin, but a nursing mother, they'll stretch it. Chloe. He wants to put the baby's name on the firm's welcome sign. It's actually sad. Patricia. It's not sad, sweetheart. It's useful. He's not a husband, he's a wallet, and wallets don't have feelings. They laughed together. They'd done this before. Here's what happened in my body, described accurately, because it wasn't rage. Rage is loud, and nothing in me was loud. There was a click. One quiet, mechanical click, a breaker tripping in a basement, and every feeling I had for my wife went dark on the other side of it. What was left in that hallway wasn't a heartbroken husband. It was an engineer looking at a structure with hidden cracks, doing what engineers do. Assess, document, then bring it down in a controlled manner. Deadpan. I backed out through the garage, drove to the county office, and filed my load revision 4 minutes before noon. Precision matters. It was about to matter a great deal. That night I ate dinner with Chloe and asked about her day. She said she had lunch with her mother and they had talked about baby names. I said that sounded nice. Deadpan. Wednesday I paid cash for 4 voice-activated recorders, high-end units, 60-hour batteries, the kind depositions get recorded on. But I didn't plant a single one until Friday, because Friday was lunch with Dan. Dan and I have been friends since sophomore year of college, back when he was pre-law and I was the guy who fixed his laptop. He's a family attorney now, a good one. I told him everything over sandwiches neither of us ate. He asked one question first. Where are you planning to put them? The house, maybe her car, both names on the title. He didn't nod. He sat back and thought for a while, and when he talked like a lawyer, not a friend. Straight answer, this is not clean. We're a one-party consent state, but you're not a party to those conversations, so nobody gets to tell you it's automatically fine. Here's what I can do. Today, dated, I paper a documented basis. You overheard specific statements indicating a planned financial fraud against you, and you recorded in your own home to document that fraud. Under that theory, it's defensible, not clean, survivable. And it's limited use. We don't build the case on audio, we build it on documents and a paternity result, and the audio comes in to prove premeditation if the judge allows. The car unit is the weakest of the 4. If it gets thrown out, we lose color, not the case. And from this second, everything runs through counsel. You don't play these for anyone. You don't confront her. You don't improvise. Understood. One more thing, Dan said. Talk is motive. Fraud needs transactions. I need paper. The paper found me. 2 weeks in, the text from an unknown number. You look tired at family dinners lately. Or awake, hard to tell with you. Coffee? Anya. Anya, Chloe's little sister, 23, worked at a credit union, showed up to Patricia's dinners in thrift store jackets as a declared act of war, and was treated by her mother and sister as a rounding error. I'd always liked her. We met at a diner 2 towns over. She slid a folder across the table before the coffee arrived and answered the question before I asked. Deadpan. No, I didn't pull anything from work. I'd get fired and they're not worth my job. I didn't have to. Chloe shows people things. That's her whole personality. The folder was screenshots and printouts. Messages from the sisters' group chat where Chloe bragged about her own money with pictures of statements. A shared cloud folder from a family trip 2 years ago that Chloe's phone had never stopped auto-syncing screenshots into. Anya checked it out of boredom one night and then kept checking. Statements Chloe herself had forwarded when she wanted Anya's bank person opinion on a balance transfer. And things Patricia said out loud at dinners, which Anya started writing down with dates. The picture it made, 2 credit cards, one in Chloe's name, one in mine, opened with my social security number, maxed to a combined $15,000, and a chain of monthly transfers to an LLC consisting entirely of a man named Liam, consulting. Liam was a family friend of the Wexfords. Gym body, no visible employment, laughed at Patricia's jokes. I'd bought him a beer once. Then Anya turned to the page with the red tab, an email printout. Refill reminders from a pharmacy app forwarded automatically to an old address the sisters had shared as teenagers, an account Chloe had never bothered to clean up. Birth control. Refilled monthly, no gaps, starting a year ago. On its own, a refill history proves one thing. She was lying the entire second year we were trying. That's not nothing, but Dan was clear later that no single page wins a case. It was the pattern, the refills, plus the transfers to Liam, plus the recordings, plus the timeline. Each one confirmed the others. I asked Danya the only question that mattered. Why? She cut her pancakes. Mom ran this exact play on my stepfather, bled him 4 years, cried in court, took the house. Everyone claps for them and it never costs them anything. I'm done watching. You don't owe me money. You owe me a front row seat. She watched my face for a second. You're not going to yell. Good. Yellers lose. Dan spread the documents across his desk and whistled once low.
The cards are identity theft. The transfers are dissipation of marital assets. The refill history, he stopped and looked at me. Mark, 6 months pregnant, a year of refills. You understand what I'm asking without me asking it. I understand. There's a prenatal test now, non-invasive, blood draw from her, cheek swab from you, no risk to the baby. We move for it the moment we file. Judges grant them when there's cause, and you have a file cabinet of cause. So I went home and played my role, and I'll be honest, this was the hardest engineering of my life. I went to the prenatal appointments. I held her hand during the ultrasound and watched the screen and felt nothing I could put a name to. I assembled the crib. I let Patricia pat my shoulder at Sunday dinner and tell me fatherhood would finally settle me. And the recorders ran. They caught everything because people who believe they've already won stop lowering their voices. 3 weeks in, the living room unit caught Chloe on the phone with Patricia, talking through the long game. Close after it's born, I just make him feel useless. Wrong swaddle, wrong bottle, wrong everything. Mom, men give up so fast. A year of that and he'll beg for every other weekend. Full custody, maximum support. The calculator says, and then she said a number, my number, and laughed. The car unit caught the phrase that named this video, Chloe to Liam on speakerphone 11 days before I filed. Relax, he suspects nothing. He's boring, he's grateful, and he's a golden ticket that renews for 18 years. And Liam laughing, cash cow with a pulse. The recorder caught the sound of her kissing the phone screen. 15 hours of audio, logged and dated. That half second is the one I only listened to once. Dan filed on a Thursday. We chose the timing like engineers. A process server met Chloe at her interior design office at 10 a.m., public enough for dignity, hers to lose. I was at my firm, 40 minutes away, phone off. The recorder under the console table caught what came next because she drove straight home and called her mother. That call survived her lawyer's objections and became a court exhibit, so I can quote it exactly. He knows. He filed. How does he know? Mom, he's not supposed to know. That's the entire, he's supposed to find out after. After. She said after 4 times. Her lawyer would later argue what after meant. The judge did not appear to require assistance. Then came the letters. Her attorney opened with the standard artillery, emergency spousal support, exclusive use of the house, my abandonment of a vulnerable expectant mother, and a demand number with a comma in an ambitious place. 4 pages of adjectives. Dan replied with 1 sentence, I have it framed. It's in my office. Respondent request court-ordered non-invasive prenatal paternity testing prior to any discussion of support. The reaction told the story before any lab did. An innocent woman is insulted for a day and swabs her cheek. Chloe's side filed an emergency motion to block the test, then a second motion. Her lawyer argued the test was invasive, degrading, and medically reckless, about a blood draw. Patricia gave an affidavit describing my controlling behavior. They spent, by Dan's estimate, $9,000 fighting a test that costs $1,500. You don't spend $9,000 to avoid a question you know the answer to, unless you do know the answer. The judge granted the motion in 4 minutes. The lab quoted 10 business days. I'll tell you what that waiting is like, because it's the only part of this story where the cold cracked. I knew. I'd seen the refill history. I'd heard the recordings. The math had one answer. And still, some basement-level part of me, the part that built the crib, the part that had picked out a name I never told anyone, ran a minority report the entire 10 days. Maybe. Timing's weird. Maybe. Hope is a structural defect. It'll hold load long before it should have failed. Day 9, Dan called. "Are you sitting down?" "Just tell me it's not mine." A pause, the kind a good friend takes before he hits you with the thing you asked for. "You're excluded, Mark. It's not yours." Everything stopped. The office noise, the traffic outside, the pen in my hand. I had known for 6 weeks and it didn't matter 1 degree. Knowing a thing and hearing a lab certify it are different injuries. I sat at my desk for about 4 minutes, not for Chloe, for the kid I'd been building shelves for. That kid had never existed. I grieved anyway. Then the 4 minutes ended and Dan was still on the line and his voice had changed registers. "This changes everything. This isn't a divorce anymore. Paternity fraud, identity theft, and the recordings prove premeditation. That's the limited use we needed them for, and now they're load-bearing. We amend everything today." We amended everything that day. Which brings us back to courtroom 4B. Chloe arrived, the baby had come early, and I'll say clearly that I wish that child nothing but a better cast of adults, playing the destroyed saint. Her lawyer opened exactly as predicted, a hard-working mother, abandoned during pregnancy by a cold, calculating man who weaponized litigation against his own family. The judge listened, and the skepticism in the room pointed at me first. A man who serves a pregnant wife looks like a villain. That's the whole business model. Patricia had said it herself in my kitchen. Courts side with mothers, always. Then Dan stood. Her lawyer objected to the audio, as expected. Dan walked the judge through the documented basis he'd built from day one, the dated memo, the fraud documentation theory, the corroborating bank records obtained properly through discovery. The judge admitted the recordings for a limited purpose, proving intent. That was the only purpose we needed. The kitchen conversation played first. She's not a husband, she's a wallet, and wallets don't have feelings. Patricia's voice, unmistakable, filling a silent courtroom while Patricia sat 10 feet away in her pearls. Then the custody plan. I just make him feel useless. He'll beg for every other weekend, maximum support. Then the calculator conversations. Then boring. Then a golden ticket that renews for 18 years. And Liam's laugh. And cash cow with a pulse. And the sound. The courtroom heard the sound of a high five over speakerphone. I've been in rooms after structural failures. I know what total silence sounds like in a space built for noise. The court reporter stopped typing between exhibits because there was nothing to type. Chloe's lawyer did not look at her client. Dan submitted the paternity results last. 1 page. Excluded. The ruling took the judge 11 minutes to read into the record. Marriage dissolved. The house and firm confirmed as my separate property. Her claims on both denied. The judge used the phrase unclean hands. The 15,000 in fraudulent cards assigned solely to Chloe, with the identity theft file referred onward. A referral, the judge noted, was now out of her hands. Alimony, none. Child support, none, with the paternity finding entered as a formal ruling of fraud. The judge's last line, verbatim, "This court sees manipulation regularly. It rarely sees it scheduled." Patricia sat completely still through all of it. She didn't touch her pearls again for the rest of the hearing. In the hallway, she cornered me by the elevators. She'd rallied, chin up, 40 years of practice. "You've destroyed this family," she said. "I hope you understand that. You've destroyed us over money." I pressed the elevator button and gave her back her own line. "Wallets don't have feelings, Patricia. You said so yourself. It's Exhibit 14. The doors opened. They do close, too." I stepped in. She was still composing her reply when the doors did it for me. 1 month after the ruling, after, and only after, Dan confirmed every appeal window had shut, Anya collected her price. She didn't post anything, too traceable, too crude. She attended her mother's country club for Sunday brunch, sat with 3 of Patricia's oldest frenemies, and played a voicemail she was heartbroken about, from her phone at table volume. The golden ticket line, the wallet line, the high five. By Tuesday, every membership Patricia had spent 30 years cultivating had heard the audio at a dinner party. By Friday, the club's charity gala committee, Patricia's throne for a decade, had restructured. Chloe moved into Patricia's condo with the baby and the $15,000 in debt. Liam, informed that the golden ticket was void and the child support calculator now pointed at him, found an urgent business opportunity 2 states away. He lasted 11 days as a father. The support order found him anyway. Turns out courts do side with mothers. Chloe finally got to see that from the other table. Anya still comes by. She sits in my kitchen, the kitchen, drinks my coffee, and gives me updates on the wreckage. She says the hallway line was a little theatrical. She's not wrong. I'd do it again. Me? I converted the nursery back into a drafting room, and I did it myself, joint by joint, the same way I built it. The firm's fine. I'm fine. People ask if the recorders were worth it. 15 hours of listening to my own demolition. Here's what I know. They spent 3 years studying my income and never once studied me. They read the wallet and skipped the man. I'm an engineer. I find the hidden cracks, I document the load, and I bring the structure down with nobody standing under it but the people who built it wrong. The wallet had a pulse. It also had ears.